I'm adjusting my clothes because I want to come and talk to people today. I want to. It's not like I'm coming to drag you. Do you understand? It's not dragging you. It's just that there is way that this thing will go now. You now feel like maybe I'm dragging you. You understand? So I have to. Yeah. First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for all the support from my last video. My choice. My choice. So far I have 200 and I can't remember. I think it's 230 subscribers. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh my god. And then I saw the comments, guys. Thank you so much for commenting. I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm just really like shocked and overwhelmed. And I'm gonna reply every single comment. But yeah, remember what I said in my last video? My life. So today let's talk about vetting. If you follow me, I've talked about vetting a couple of times, or at least maybe 2 times on my Instagram, and I think I've lightly mentioned it on Twitter. I want to just talk about vetting, like kind of what's that thing that people say? Is it expatiate? Yes, vetting and how to vet. And I think that, I mean, with this video, I'm really speaking to women here because there's no other way to say it. Some of you vetting process. English. Okay. Some of you vetting process. If I can say progress. But yeah, some of you vetting process is horrible. Like, in fact, for some of you, it doesn't exist, right? So I have a few points written down. Please don't mind me if I'm looking inside book because there is many things inside my head. This adulting stuff is hard. When it comes to vetting, right, I'm going to say that first of all, men vet a lot. Like, men vet women a lot. Like, and for some reason, women tend to just not do as much vetting as they should. And I said this thing on Instagram where if you're constantly dating trash men, right, maybe you need to look at your vetting process because that's mostly what the problem is. I mean, first of all, why are you letting somebody who he doesn't qualify for the next step? Why are you going out on more than one date with him? Like, what's the criteria? You have to treat dating like a job interview or like when you go for an event, right? So if there's a conference that you really want to go for and like, oh wow, you're going to learn so many things, right? When you go for that conference, you're going to take notes. You're going to remember things that were said at the conference. And when you get home, you're going to sit down and be like, okay, what did I learn today? How impactful was this conference? The money that I paid for this conference is what my time needs. You will take notes, right? You will try and like sort through your notes. So what I don't understand is why you guys go on dates with people and then there's nothing that you come back to reflect on. Like, there's no note taking, there's no, okay, does he deserve a second date? Because you're supposed to be vetting that much where you determine if somebody should even get a second date with you. But then women tend to give access too fast and give too much access too soon, right? So somebody takes you out on a date. Oh, wow, he's really nice to me. He's kind. And, you know, he laughed at my jokes or he has a good sense of humor. So I think he deserves a second date. Excuse me, but that's bare minimum. Like, he should be a kind person. Kindness is not an external feature, right? He should be a kind person. He should treat you like a human being. It doesn't make sense for you to now classify these things as, what do you call it? As, the English today is not coming, so people will take this video like that. As I'm speaking it, you'll be getting it, you understand? Alright, cool. Anyways, but yeah, it's not an external feature that's, oh wow, he's kind, oh my god, Jesus. It's not that. He's kind, he should be kind. He's a human being living inside the head. He should be kind. So why are you going out on a date with somebody and then okay, he was nice, you know, he didn't really mean some of the things he said, but I should go out with him. Excuse me, what's happening here now? Like, why? What are we doing? Okay, like, it do pain me most times because the vetting process is Also, please, people should forgive, but there is it inside this country, and I'm not having light, so help me to find myself first. Hey, Jesus. Hi. See, I need to relocate. I can't say all this beauty. I shouldn't be living in this place, but it's okay. My God is coming true. It's okay. Wait, I'm coming. Let's go back to what we're saying. So another thing that women don't understand is men will rise to the occasion. Like, if you tell a man that these are the things that I want, like these are things that, oh, I'm not going to go below, these are my boundaries and stuff like that. If he doesn't currently have those things, he will rise to the occasion to get there. Does this make sense? Like, for example, somebody wants to take you out on a date, right? And maybe he's just taking everybody that he goes out with to Yabo's place behind his compound or Chicken Republic, right? And you didn't really used to hit all these things. You used to hit Chicken Republic on a normal day. You're allowed to state it. Look, I don't go to such places, or I don't eat at such. And if you want to take me out on a date or ask me out on a date, then ask me out on a proper date. And you're allowed to be specific. And if he cannot do it, then that's fine, right? But then I have a problem with women apologizing for what it is they want and apologizing for specificity when it's not like as if you begged anybody to come and date you. Also, stop talking too much. I didn't know how to put this other point, but stop talking too much. Listen and observe more than you actually speak when you're out on dates, right? Because the thing is that people reveal what it is that you want to know if you pay attention. Do you understand? Like, you don't have to be the one being so talkative all the time. Sometimes actually pay attention and listen, because it will help. Okay? Like, another reason why you're probably dating trash men, like I've said, the entire point of this video is vetting, but I'm going to break it down and then I'll now give you examples of criteria, is because you're allowing men that are not qualified, right, fill positions that they have no business filling. Like I said, you go out on the first date with somebody, oh, he was kind to me and he paid for the date, so yeah, I think he deserves a second date. Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm looking. That's bare minimum. That's not special. He was kind. Of course, he asked you out. He should pay for the dates. Like, what are we saying? Anyways, let me calm down, because you can see that I'm starting to get like a little bit hungry. Okay. But yeah, so you now notice that, okay, fine, this man does not qualify for most of the things I'm looking for, right? Why are you now not just going out on a second date with him? You are now allowing him be in your life and date you as the man in your life. Why? Like, what is the problem? Do you just generally want to break your own heart by yourself, or do you just enjoy being disappointed? The point is that vetting puts you in the position where you're able to separate the wheat from the chaff, right? It puts you in a place where there's a criteria for why this person is somebody you are dating. For example, so criteria 1, he has to have a legal source of income. Yeah, that's 1. What else are you vetting for? What character? What they call it? What's the criteria that you are vetting in his character? Share that English is correct, babe. Okay, if it's not correct, people take it like that, like I said, because my English is failing me today. I didn't know what I think. I'm hungry because this is affecting my brain. Okay, as I was talking. So what's the criteria like that you are vetting for when it comes to his character? Is he respectful, right? And when you go out, respectful is not just to you, but like to everybody that serves you at the place that you go to, right? The doorman, the person that brings your food, the waiter, all of that. Is he respectful, right? How does he speak to the people that you are with when you're out? That's very important. That's something you should be vetting for, because it tells you a lot. Like I said this thing on the recent episode of my podcast, right? Who a person is, who a man is to people who are not related to him, people who he doesn't have any connection to, people who cannot pay him back, basically, is the core of who he is. Let me explain that again. If, let's say, the the way he speaks to a waiter, like he's rude, disrespectful, and condescending, at the core of that man, that's who he is. He's prideful. Do you understand? That's the core of him. Just because he doesn't do it to you does not mean that one day you're not going to be in the position where you're one of those people, because it will always happen, right? So that's the core of who he is, and that's something you should be vetting for, because if that's how he's going to treat people that he doesn't even know, what makes you special? What, because you are pretty and is attracted to you? So yeah, vetting for that, right? Women make it too easy. They allow too much access, and then some of you are even, oh wow, we've gone out on 2 or 3 dates. Okay, great, it's time to have sex. Why? That's not something you should be doing. Like, it's just not something you should be doing, because I don't know how else to explain this, but when your vetting process does not exist, or when there's too much access too soon, it sends off the message that, oh wow, this babe has no boundaries and really doesn't know what she wants, and it's okay for me to show up, and whatever it is I give her, she'll accept, because at least she's looking for a man. That's basically what it gives off, right? And men are, when they are meeting you, like they are vetting you from, you don't start vetting somebody from the 3rd date. You start vetting from the first time he speaks to you. When men meet you, they are vetting you from that. Obviously, a man first approaches you because of physical attraction. Anybody that wants to say it's a lie, they'll be okay. But yeah, a man approaches you first because of physical attraction. Oh, okay, wow, she's beautiful. Well, I like the way that she's dressed. But it's first about what he sees, right? That's the first reason why he approaches you. So when it comes from there, like, oh wow, I think you're beautiful, or I really like what you're wearing, he starts wanting to talk to you and, you know, try to get your contact and stuff like that. From that point, right, he's already vetting you. Is this somebody that I would want to date? Is this a woman that I really just want to have sex with? Is this a woman that is going to be my friend? They are already vetting you and putting you into categories. So why exactly are you not doing the same thing? I always say this thing that women should vet as much as men and then multiply that by 2. Because the truth of the matter is that men are already doing it to you. Okay? Men are already vetting and putting criteria. And I said this thing on an Instagram post. Let me look for that post. Men vet women all the time, right? And women should be doing the same thing. And I'm just going to read out that post. You can find it on Instagram at Selma Enang. Men vet women from the jump. It will do women a world of good to do the exact same thing from the jump too. It's almost hilarious to assume a man begins to vet you after the first 2 dates or whatever. Men are pretty straightforward with these things. It's women that tend to think men aren't paying attention. They are. Even the seemingly random questions are not random. They vet you from the very beginning and they compartmentalize you. Free secret though. You don't start vetting a man from the 3rd date. Do it from the jump. Vet as much as men do, and even more. Don't just take whatever is offered because you feel lucky to be picked. Vet and choose too. You deserve to date better, and you should. Also, dead the idea that what you want is scarce. That's part of the problem. Good things take time, no means saying no, they're available. Vetting is where they decide whether you are worth it or not. Fun fact, men tend to vet more than one woman at a time, and this is something I want to talk. Women will start talking to one man, right? And maybe he's nice to her, takes her out on dates, he bought her flowers, and next thing, everybody on her WhatsApp list, people that she was talking to yesterday night, the remaining 3 people, maybe occasional, shall delete the chat, shall block their number, she didn't talk to them again. And my problem is, why? Balance me real quick. Like please. How? If there's anything that you need to know now that you probably maybe have not accepted, like, men do not end all their conversations with every other woman the first day they speak to you. It does not happen. It doesn't happen. You can say there are men who maybe after the first 3 weeks they are sure that this babe, she, or after 1 month, this babe, she, but that the day that they spoke to a new woman, they start talking to her. Stop it. Stop. I don't like lies. People should not be telling yourself I didn't used to like people that used to lie. Stop it. Stop that. Don't lie. Okay. But yeah, men vet more than one woman at a time, right? They don't stop talking to other people that they've been talking to just because they found you or they started speaking to you. Do you understand? Some will admit to talking to other women aside from you, but most men will not. It is, however, imperative that you begin to vet too. Don't just take what you're handed. Nobody is doing you a favor by dating you. And I think that's another thing that women need to understand. Nobody is doing you a favor. Do you get? If a man wants you, he wants you. You're a woman. You are wanted. You are attractive. You are fine. Take kiss. But at the core of it is, one, have a criteria, right? And if you want like in-depth knowledge on vetting, you can take my course, Dating Better. I'm going to put a link in the description below. You can take my course, and in Dating Better, we talk about everything when it comes to dating, your criteria, vetting, why it is you even have that criteria in the first place. But yeah, have a criteria while you're dating somebody, or while you're wanting to date someone. Have a criteria of the man you want to date, right? Another thing to note is that when you have a criteria and it's a certain kind of man, and this is one of the truths that I think a lot of men don't want to accept. If you are trying to date a certain kind of man, and please understand me when I say like, men that are actually worth it, not Razak that is living in Mushin, that you send paragraph 3 days ago, you reply you after 4 days. Please, hello, we didn't do that in that channel. In this channel, we have thanks and God bless. But yeah, men that are worth it, right? Certain types of men, if those are the men that you're trying to date, if those are the men that are in your criteria, that okay, this is kind of man I'm looking for, you have to also understand they are going to have to become the kind of woman that those men are looking for, right? Because the truth of the matter is, there's this belief that, oh, because I'm a woman and I'm attractive, every man is going to want me. That's not true. There are men that are not going to want you because you're not their cup of tea. You're not what they're looking for. But if you're trying to date a certain type of man, right, understand what that certain type of man like wants. And in my course, I always like talk about in my students where we do like a profile, like profile the kind of man you're dating, profile what this kind of man will be looking for after you profile who he is, right? And it kind of gives you an idea of, okay, so am I on par with what I'm looking for? And on par, I'm not speaking about financial status, no. Are you on par with the other things that these types of men would be searching for? Do you understand? Don't just think that, oh, because I'm pretty and beautiful, everybody will want me. That's not true. Okay, but topic for another day. Anyways, have a criteria for what it is you are looking for when you're vetting, right? And let your criteria solid. Let it kakaraka. Knowing that boga song going, that's how your criteria needs to be. Let it stand strong and stand. That's that. Have a criteria for what it is you're looking for when you vet, and have boundaries. Okay, don't give too much access too soon. Also, I want to say something. Dear Christian sisters, people should not be angry. But when a man starts talking to you or slides into your DM on any social media platform, right, and he's Christian, you know, he knows the word of the Lord, yeah, I'm gonna date him. Excuse me, no. What else does this man have apart from the fact that he knows the Bible and he loves God? What else? Is he emotionally intelligent? No, he's not. Just because somebody is Christian does not mean that they're actually going to be kind. And this is something that a lot of people don't want to accept, but it's the truth. Expectations, and this is another thing that I teach in my course. Your expectation of a person might not be the standard that the person holds themselves to. Those two things are different. So expectations of, oh, okay, he's Christian and he loves God. Your expectation is that he's kind. But does he hold himself to the standard of kindness that God has taught? They are not the same thing. Please maybe rewind and hear it again. I'm going to do one more repeat. Expectations of a person and the standards the person holds themselves to are two different things. Just because he's Christian and you expect him to be kind does not mean that he holds himself to the standard of kindness that God has said. I hope that this thing makes sense. Again, rewind, because this is something that a lot of you need to know. You can have expectations of a person, but does the strength of the person's character that they've formed, does it hold them to that standard that you expect? It's one thing where you say, oh, because he's Christian, I believe that he's supposed to be waiting to marriage and not having sex. But does he hold himself to that standard? Because you should only expect the standard the person holds himself to. If he holds himself to the standard of kindness in the way of God, the way that Jesus taught, then you can expect kindness from him, because he's holding himself to that standard. And if he falls below that standard that he set for himself, that he lives by, then it is your job to, you are falling below expectation, bros. What is happening? Do you understand? To kind of like course correct and all of that. But if a person says they are Christian, and you need to find out what their standards are for themselves. Okay, you're Christian. Okay, what does that mean? Does that mean that like maybe you don't drink? Does that mean that you're kind or you help people in need? Find out what the standards are. And like I always say, the strength of a person's character is the core of who the person is, especially men, right? You can't just go around and be dating anything because, oh, he smiled at me, or when I first met him, he sent me money. Okay, so bloody what? What else does he have? Is he kind? Does he have emotional regulation? Is he self-aware? Is he emotionally intelligent? What are you vetting for? Because you can't just not be vetting now. I need you to stop treating dating like as if somebody is doing you a favor by approaching you. Do you understand me? Like I said, treat it like an event that you paid for, you know, a conference you want to go for. Treat it like a job interview. Treat it like if you want to go to the bank and collect loan. When you go to the bank and tell them you want loan, share bank will just come, you are beautiful, come, let me help you to write 1 million naira, take, go and do what you want. That never happens. They will go through everything. They will scrutinize you. They'll tell you to bring business, this thing, proof of funds, proof of employment or whatever, proof that you can pay back the loan. They will even ask you for your statement of account for that business that it is that you're taking the loan for. They will tell you to bring referees, guarantors, stuff like that. Somebody else that can sign like on the paper. So my problem is if banks and other things are doing all of that, like they push you through a process, why isn't that the dating that you want to date doesn't have any process? There is no steps for anybody to go through. There is no criteria in which you are vetting for. Oh, he's a man, he's fine, he was nice to me, okay, he's great, I can date.